Good morning, good morning. It's 8:10. I'm so sorry. But anyway, good morning. I hope everybody's doing wonderful this morning. I hope I'm on the right page. Yep, I am. Perfect. Okay, let's get started. Since I'm 5 minutes late, we should go right into it because it is Whimsical Wednesday. We're going to do our cute little owl. Isn't he adorable? I think I sent everybody their PDFs that have asked me for a PDF. I'm going to get a new, oops, no, I'm not. I'm just going to flip it over. So, we're going to do Cutie Owl for our Wilderness series. Yes. Oh my word, my studio is such a mess. Now that I'm 5 minutes late, but I'm here, so we are going to get started. So I want to take this, I'm going to flip the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Like always, so good morning, good morning. Grab your coffee, your tea, whatever. And we will get started. All right, so I always like to make sure. Yep, perfect. Okay, your little owl is adorable. I think he's so cute, kind of whimsical, kind of realistic. So what we're gonna do is locate the pencil. Oh, there it is. And I have just my standard watercolor paper. So I'm gonna flip him over so I can draw him onto there. This is not cheating. It is making your life easier. So please don't feel like, oh my gosh, you know, it's cheating. No, it's not. It's all good. Besides, this is just giving us the shape of the owl, all kinds of fun stuff. Just giving us, you know, like where to go. Because it's not like we're taking these and putting them in some art museum. You know what I mean? It's all good. All right, I think I kind of want him over to one side, but maybe slightly in the center. So, okay, and I'm taking my mechanical pencil because it's firmer on the when we're transferring. I usually don't use a soft lead or anything because they make fatter lines. And I don't always want the fatter lines. All right, so you can trace in, not really trace, it's not trace. Well, kind of tracing, I guess. Yeah, we'll call it tracing. Whatever lines you feel you want to have, okay? I'm not gonna trace them all in, but when you're at home, if I've sent you this or you've asked for it, you know, you can trace in what you'd like. Because some are going to be like, oh, I just want like the basic, which is great. Oops. Or some of you will be like, you know what, I really like it and I want it to be as close to this little creature as possible. So you're going to trace in all the lines. So like these, I'm probably not going to trace in very many. I'm going to just kind of, they go here. There's, well, I guess I traced it more than I thought, but it's all good. He's got these cute little feet here. Then his tail feathers. There's this. I'm actually just going to put a little bit of that in because I can do that one. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I think he looks pretty good. I might have missed one here. I don't know. Okay. He looks pretty good. Okay, except, you know, his little thing. I kind of think he needs something here, and I look in the picture and it's not here. So I'm going to draw one in because I just think it needs it. Since I'm kind of doing whimsical, you know. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna get stuffy. I always sneeze in the morning. Why is that? Do you guys all sneeze in the morning? Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna take my Sharpie and I'm going to, oh, I didn't order a new one and this one doesn't want to work. There you go. The problem with sneeze, so I'm trying to keep, you know how you can feel a sneeze coming on? I'm trying to convince myself I don't really need to sneeze. I don't know if I'm gonna win or not. He is going to be so cute. So when you're doing your little, you know, this little, your Sharpie, like see how that one didn't, I flicked it out and in the picture it doesn't really flick out. The thing is you're, you know, when you're trying to let your artistic juices flow, I like to change things, mostly because I don't like to copy people, but also just because I do. I like to add my artistic flair to it, and I think you should too. If you see something that you want to do, maybe you want it, oh, I just thought, maybe you want it to have like little curly cues, because it's supposed to be whimsical, remember? So like here, maybe you want it to have little flick outs. That doesn't look too bad. I'll put a couple over here. I don't want to do too many, but you know, make them look a little different. It doesn't have to be exactly to what the drawing, your, you know, your little sketch was at the beginning. And I want a little flick out here, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so that's, you always, you know, can have your own little artistic flair come out. So never, ever, ever, even if you paint in person with me, I talk about it all the time, that, you know, I encourage you to create your own. I encourage you to, you know, follow along with me, but if you have your own little thought about how something should be, or, you know, maybe it would go better with your decor to, you know, change it a little bit, it's perfectly fine. I think everybody should make it your own. See? All right. Something simple. Okie doke. That one has like a little flower on it, so I'm gonna put another one out here. And I like it, so I think I'm gonna put one here. And maybe one more right here beside this one. See? Make it your own. Okay, now let's get our eraser out. Erase those little lines, which instead of using an actual pencil, like using the harder ink, this comes off so easy. Okay. don't like to have all that stuff on there because it gets on your painting. Okie doke. I feel like he's missing something over here. This must not have been the one I used. Okay, so here we probably should put in a little bit here. Oops, this goes this way. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna take a drink of my tea. Hopefully I don't get too stuffy now that I've sneezed on camera. All right, let's see. I'm trying to decide what color we should make him. What color? I don't even know what color owls normally are. I think you see them all different colors. So we're gonna do, because I didn't want to do a too whimsical. I'm trying to find my brushes. All right, I think I'm gonna start with my number 6 because I'm gonna do the owl first. Because I think I might do this one in the evening, so I want the background to be a little darker. But I first want to make sure that I can, you know, that the owl can handle a darker background. So it'll depend on what colors I choose, I guess. Oh, let's see. Anybody have suggestions? Trying to see if I can see the comments. Okay. Anyway. So let's see. Maybe I should have thought about this one. I think I'll do browns. I'm going to try to make him slightly realistic. Okay, so let me move, oops, not this whole thing. Let me move this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, but I don't want him, I want my base coat to be pretty light at the beginning. Okay, so I'm thinking, oh, see, that's too dark already still. Add more water. Okay, that's better. So I'm not going to get his eyes, but I do want it pretty light. And I say it a lot, I think I do anyway. I do in my head. I like to use the liner brushes because it has this little dinky point and it makes it so much easier to get into some of the little spots. So that's usually what I do. I mean, you can use flat brushes, but since sometimes I have all these little, like, you see the little points, how this nicely that goes down in there, except right there where I got out of the line, but it's all good. We should get out of the lines sometimes. We don't want to stay inside the lines. Okay. So now that I have this in, ta-da! All right, so he's nice, plain looking brown, nothing fancy, but from this point, then I can see where do I want to make him darker. It's easier, we take water to make him lighter. And I'm thinking this area I'll probably make a little bit lighter, but when you make your dark just darker first, you can see where you want to go. So I'm thinking, like, I like the drawing, how his wings are under here are darker. So I think I'm kind of going to go with that. Oops, sorry. And to make it darker, I am going to just use a darker, just more pigment in my brown, but I'm also wanting to add a little black. I want to add some contrast. So in here, so this is inside his ear. Remember, I like to add this in and then I can go back to with just a watered paintbrush and bring in some texture. Okay, so I'm going to wash my brush. And it's pretty dry, but there's still water in it because, you know, we've been using it. So then I use just the tip, and I'm going to pull some of this in here to make it look like it kind of blends in instead of me just plopping in color and having these light and dark areas. Okay, so you're just going to use just the tip to really gently start to pull some of this in. And because I have color on here, I can actually go from here, these dark areas, and put just a little bit more darkness here. And I can continue to do that. Like I want this spot right here. It's not working. A little darker. Because it's kind of close to his eyes. And darkness makes things look like they're pulled back. They recede things. And then if I get too much of the dark color on my brush, I just wash it back off. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead. I have a spot here that's bugging me. This right here, I switched brushes, but this right here is where I went out of the lines, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So it's just water on my brush and push back in there. See, water for watercolors, it's kind of like an eraser. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this color off here on a couple of his little feathers. Okay. All right. There we go. All right, then I'll start over here. Too much water. Because I don't want to lose the darkness. You don't want to lose that darkness because then you're just going to have to put it right back in. You just want to be able to soften its edge just a little. And you could do this with markers if you wanted. A little bit harder. I don't know even if it's harder. It's a lot different. Just realized this right here is missing a line. Huh? That's okay. We'll fix it at the end. All right. Then I'm gonna soften these edges here. To make them look like they come together. Okay, and I want to lighten up his belly. So I'm going to wash my brush out, get that color out. I'm going to leave a little more water in my brush than I did earlier, and I'm going to pull some of this color off. Okay, so I get it wet, and then you can get some of that color off. Same up in here. I think he's probably lighter up in here. One of these times I'm going to have to. I think I have it somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Some masking fluid, which is the stuff that keeps things white that I talk about sometimes. Okay. Now, I've made this area a little whiter, light, you know, taking some of that color off. Now I can deepen my darks even more, which when you do that, it takes this color and it makes it even lighter because it's an illusion. So I'm going to take a little bit of black, mix it in with some brown. And only where I want it to be a lot deeper will I add in some black. So it's not everywhere that I did the brown. It's places that I want to look like they sink back, they recede a little bit more. Or they're in the shadows a little bit more. I think he's coming along. Then this one here is a little darker. because it's his tail. Ooh, yes, it's coming along. I think he just needs a little definition up here. Since I'm almost out of paint, I'm going to add a little bit up here. But I'm almost out of paint, so. But I didn't like those lines. Sometimes you do that, like this line here, I don't like. So I wash my brush and just smooth that edge a little. Okay. Then this should probably be a little darker. All right, let's see what happens when we put his eyes in. Okay, so this part, I left this white part here white because that's like the white of his eye. Ta-da! See how much that changes him? It's amazing what eyes can do. And I switched to the smaller brush. I'm sorry if you didn't notice. Ta-da! Look at that. Oh, yes, he's coming along. All right, since I have the smaller brush, I'm going to give him like a beak. And it won't be quite as bright as what you might think it will be, because see how his beak is actually, I put it on top of the brown. And then I'm going to do his toesies. Oh yes, he's coming together nicely. I like him. Cute, but kind of realistic, but fun. But I want him in the dark. I think I'm gonna do his, oh, that thing he's on. The branch. Super, super, super dark. So practically black, because this will be at night and I don't want to take away from, the owl. So I'm going to kind of mostly do it dark. Okay. So this is just black with a little bit of brown in it. Because I don't want it to be about the branch. I want it to be about the owl. And then right here where my owl is sitting, I'll just touch in extra black. Okay, now I don't want it to be just a solid color of black, so I'm gonna actually turn it, I'm sorry. And then I'm gonna take water and my brush, kind of lighten up some of this, just give it a little depth. Okay, so all I'm doing is just kind of taking that color and pulling some of it back off. Just randomly, I'm not picking like, oh, I have to do it here. It's because this is a nighttime owl. Okay, I just don't want it to be solid. And then I'll leave it like that. Have you all been, like, did you go out and buy some, you know, cheapy watercolors and a sketch pad, a watercolor sketch pad, so that you can, you know, play around with some of these? I would love, love, love to see your projects. You can private message me. You don't have to. you don't have to put them on Facebook. Okay, this color right here is in my, it was $4, and you got at Dollar Tree, you got all these. I'm still not, oh, I love the colors. I got it because it had so many colors, but it's very chalky, and the water gets soaked up in there really, really fast. But I do love the colors. So I want this color because I want it to be dark. Okay, but I don't want to get my owl, I don't want him to disappear. So what I'm going to do is do the darkness here. I'm going to add some water to my brush to make it so it's dark on the outside. But I'm going to add more water so that it gets lighter as it comes up here to him. So it's the same color, just different intensity, okay? Because I don't want my owl to fade away. And once again, having a brush that has a point on it is amazing because you can get right into those cracks and crevices. Okay. So I'm just kind of outlining him a little bit. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go right on those flowers because I don't even know if I'm going to do anything with those flowers. And then down in here, you can make it a little darker if you want. Ooh, okay. And then I'm gonna just take a little water, kind of fix some of these lines so it's not quite so, because I have, the thing about these paints too, because the pigment's a little more intense in some spots, the paints from Dollar General tend to leave little lines. So you have to work kind of quickly so it doesn't soak up too much. Okay, and then I'm gonna dry off some. Okay, this right here, this line, that's what I was talking about. I don't know if I can get that to come back up. So that part might bother me, but we'll see. I switched blues just because this has a lot of purple in it, which I love. But I'm trying to cover up that line that I didn't like. Yeah, that's good. And then I think I've decided I'm going to make this a little darker down here because this is below him. So I just kind of feel like, let's add a little more darkness. Ta-da! I think I like that much, much better. What do you think? Do you like it? Oh, I do. I like him a lot. Okay, now I think I'm gonna let the background dry the way it is. Because I do a lot with just white acrylic. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little white acrylic and I'm just going to make my little white flowers kind of stand out. Not too much though, I'm just adding a little bit. Just little dabs. I'm mostly letting that black liner, the ink, come out. Okay. And then if you wanted, I don't know what it'll look like, but I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll be brave. Let's put a couple little stars in the background. Not a lot. And when you do stars, if you can kind of group them together a little bit, because if you don't, if you just do a bunch of random dots and you're thinking, well, it's the stars, really it starts to look like snow. Because he's up in the sky, you might see a star here and there close. Ta-da! All right, let's make this one a little better. What do you think? Oh, yes, I like it. I think Mr. Owl turned out well. And because he's darker, I'm not really sure I even want to... Well, there's this one spot. My background's wet. You don't have to. I think I'm not going to fix. Like, I really like him the way he is. So I'm not going to go back with my Sharpie. You can if you want. You know, totally up to you. I think he looks cute, though. You could do yellow out here if you wanted. But it's really not about the flowers, so. All right, let me flip you back. There we are. Okie doke. So here we are. He's still wet. Cute, cute. I love him. So our little hoot owl, we took him from our little drawing and made him into a cute little painting. Isn't he sweet? All right, so that is Mr. Hoot Owl. And then tomorrow I think we're going to do the deer, which is this. So if you want the tracers, well, good, Yvonne. One step at a time. Anyway, so remember, if you want the tracers, just you can private message me. You can email me. My email is create, and then the word create, UR, like the letters UR, canvas, create your canvas, @gmail.com. And let me know that you would like the wilderness tracers, and I will get them out to you. And yeah, so thank you for painting with me this morning. I apologize for sneezing on the camera, but you know, it just happened. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow, Thoughtful Thursday at 8:05-ish. I'm going to try to be on 8:05, not 8:10, but can't promise anything.